Hello my lovelies, today is a long-awaited video. I truthfully have not been wanting to do this video because there's so many parts to it that I just could not commit to a video like that, but I decided to finally do it and I'm actually really excited about filming it. Today I'm going to show you guys how I edit my YouTube videos. I'm going to go into as much detail as I can about everything. I'm gonna give you all the tips, the tricks, and all that. Okay, let's just get straight into how I edit my videos. I have my computer right here, so let's go into it. I think the best thing to start with right now is what equipment I use. So the main camera that I use for filming my videos is the Sony Alpha 7 IV or A7 IV. I also use it a lot for my photography. The Alpha camera that I use is also a little bit bigger. It's more of like a full body, full frame camera, but I think it's great. It's an expensive camera, I'll never deny that. It was a gift and I'm very grateful for the gift because honestly it's one of my favorite cameras to use. Truthfully, you don't even have to film in any type of picture mode with it. You could film in auto and even take photos in auto and you will have like great content. So I definitely suggest this camera if you're willing to splurge on a camera. But like truthfully, when it comes to YouTube videos and vlogging, or even truthfully making the cinematic videos that I make occasionally, I will say that you could easily do that with an iPhone camera if you have an iPhone camera. And personally, I use my iPhone to film some parts of my videos too, so don't feel like you need to get this expensive camera to get a good quality video. You don't. I think what matters more, especially when it comes to a camera, are the lenses that you use. So I use two camera lenses. The second one that I use is newer, but the first one that I use is the Sony 28 to 70 millimeter lens. When I got gifted the camera, that was the lens that came with the camera. I know Best Buy, they have a bundle and it's basically the Sony Alpha 7 IV bundled with the Sony 28 to 70 millimeter camera lens, because you could easily get the camera without the lens. I thought that was the craziest thing ever. I had no clue that it was like you got a camera with no lens. How are you supposed to use it? But you buy the lens separately. It's the world we live in. There's nothing I could do about it. Okay, so that's the lens that I mostly used. I now have a new lens, which was a Christmas present. It's a beast, and she is not a cheap lens in any way, shape, or form. Again, I want to make this clear. I'm not saying you have to buy the equipment that I own to get the same results. This just happens to be the equipment that I have and I was gifted. But going into the second lens that I have and that I just recently got, it's a Sigma lens. It's the 24 to 70, let me make sure, 24 to 70 millimeter wide angle wide angle lens. The main reason why I got the lens is because I use natural lighting and the first lens just didn't get the lighting how I wanted it to. The first lens constantly had backlighting issues and I just really wanted to try a different lens out. I've been looking at Sigma lenses and I've been wanting Sigma lenses more for my photography than for my videography because I want to get back into photography. I've just been slacking on it, so I really wanted the Sigma lens for that. It's great for filming cinematic videos too. It does have a lower f-stop than my original lens. It allows more light into the actual camera and it kind of helps with preventing backlighting. I want to go into the other cameras that I used. My main camera, of course, is the Sony Alpha 7 IV, the Sony A7 IV, but I do use two other cameras. One of the cameras is my GoPro Hero 11. I use it for multiple shots and very specific shots. I use it for above angle shots, and I also use it for filming close to water or filming in water, like a sink shot. I also have the iPhone 15. I use my iPhone camera when I'm going somewhere and I'm only filming 1 to 2 shots and I don't want to bring my camera. Okay, now that I'm done going into equipment for filming, I want to go into equipment for audio. So I used to film my voiceovers on the Voice Memo app on my iPhone. I think it's great. You just have to set it up properly. If you grew up in a household with an Italian mother like me, forget about it. I would suggest moving the phone further away from your face or bringing down the volume in post-production, because some of my voiceovers were brutally loud and that just had to do with the fact that I wasn't properly placing my phone. So let me see if I could get my phone now. So I used to film my voiceovers like this and be really close to my phone. I don't do that anymore. If I do use my phone, I film farther away like this. You don't need to be this close to the mic. The mic is good enough on its own. When I kept on filming more videos, I started to realize that I personally like being able to hear what I'm doing. That's why in a lot of my videos, more specifically my cleaning videos, you are actually able to hear me wiping things down. I'm able to use that sound and create kind of like a sound design sound effect type thing. It just makes the sound crisper. And I realized that my camera's microphone wasn't necessarily good enough for that. And now that I'm going more into filmmaking and cinematography, sound design is very, very important. So I just wanted to start doing the basic steps of that, which was getting a better microphone. But what I use now is the Sony ECM E1 on my videos. I'm using it currently right now. There's actually a lot of sound going on behind me and you can't even hear it. When it comes to sound, committing to a microphone will make a significant difference. It's so much better than the iPhone's microphone. And if you're like me, I constantly drop my phone. Usually within the first couple months, my microphone doesn't even work properly, so the mic was definitely needed. I film my voiceovers with the microphone, and that might be confusing because it's a mic that connects to the camera. What I do is I just basically set it up like it's a normal microphone that you're talking into, and I'll just film a video and import just the sound of the video, and that's how I do my voiceovers. The ECM mic costs a lot of money because it's that good. Truthfully, it's one of the best mics you could get to connect to your camera. One example I could think of specifically was I filmed a video, my birthday video. I was at the Japanese gardens. I was filming the bamboo trees and the noises that they were making, and the software that I use has voice isolation, and I was curious to see what would happen if I used clip. So I used voice isolation on the clip, and turns out you could hear a conversation from a couple that was probably 20 to 30 feet away from me. This mic picks up so much. You could change the settings however you want. I usually keep the settings so the sound in front of me or in front of the camera is what it focuses on, and that's usually why you could only hear me and you don't hear my air conditioning. You don't hear, like right now they're mowing the lawn. And going into my tripod, I just got one off of Amazon. There are way better tripods. I don't necessarily have an issue with this one. It just doesn't level that well, but it's a tripod. It does the job. Now let's get into planning. I used to not plan my videos. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It fully showed that I was not planning my videos. I was winging it. Even my cleaning videos, I was just like, I'm just gonna clean and put the camera wherever I want to put it. And don't get me wrong, it worked out. But if you could be better at something and you know what you're capable of, would you not be better at it? I'm not gonna keep on like winging my way through my videos. That's not fun. I want to be better and I want to create better content. So now I do plan my videos. It starts with an idea, which usually happens when I'm doing nothing and my mind is completely blank. So if you're a creative and you're trying to force yourself to come up with these crazy ideas, go outside and touch some grass. Do it right now, actually. And believe it or not, so many things will just pop in your head, and before you know it, you're outside for 15 minutes and you have a whole video planned. I used Life of Rizza's YouTube template. Everyone should check her out. She's so good at cinematic videos. She has an amazing template. I'm going to probably link her video for how she uses the template because she goes more into detail with it. I'm not going to go into detail about somebody else's Notion template. So when it comes to planning, I usually start with how am I going to structure the video? Will it be a sit down talking like this, or will I film the video completely quiet and then do a voiceover over it? Because my filming day kind of is structured around whether or not I'm going to do a voiceover, a sit down, or a silent video. And also, will I use the sound of the clips, or am I just putting music over it? Using the sound of the clips, usually I make sure it's quieter so you're able to hear me wiping the table more, or me dusting the table, lint rolling the table. Once I do that, I plan out some scenes that I want to do. And usually when it comes to scenes, I'm still new to this, so I'm not gonna say I'm like perfect at this, but usually I'll walk around both of my rooms, or if I'm filming outside, I'll go where I plan on filming and I look around and see which angles look good with my camera and which angles I want to get. Usually every video has at least like 5 frames, frames that I have to get in order for the video to have the feel that I want it to have. Every angle is different. Every angle gives a different view. Every angle gets color graded differently. I go based off of that, but sometimes I will wing it. Like I'll be filming and I think, oh, you know what? This shot would look good. Let me try it. And I try it. And honestly, 9 times out of 10, it's usually the best shot in my video. Some people like write out their scenes and draw out their scenes. I'm terrible at drawing. Most of the time I just go into my Notion template and go into the script area and I'll just put a bullet point of what pops in my head and I try to type it in with as much detail. Usually when I read it back, I know exactly what I'm talking about, so I don't necessarily have to draw out the scenes. I know in my head what I mean. Oh, I want to go into some of my favorite angles. There are multiple angles that I tend to do more of. One of my favorite angles on this planet is the floor angle. All I do is put my camera on the floor. It's like not complicated at all. I throw my camera on the floor. Why I like putting the camera on the floor is sometimes it makes the video feel like you're actually in the scene, and I love that. My idea of cinematic is not necessarily making everything look aesthetic and beautiful. My idea of cinematic is making things feel real and like you're a part of the scene. It doesn't make you feel like there's a screen across from you and then there's someone filming. I also like doing the above shot. I usually do the above shot mostly with my GoPro. I have been trying to do it with my camera. I just get nervous because my tripod isn't the most stable. The main reason why I like the above shot, just it shows so much in one scene. I could literally show my whole room with an above shot. I also like it because when you do an above shot, it shows so much within the frame that I'm able to add like fonts and animations without the fonts and animations taking up the whole frame and becoming distracting in the scene. Ooh, and I want to go into the rules of composition and framing that I personally use. I'm really into cinematography and filmmaking currently, and that's like my end goal, to be able to be a filmmaker. These are just some of the things that I'm doing right now as a beginner. I like the rule of thirds. I like it because it adds more composition to the shot. Like if I'm in the middle of the shot, I'm taking up the whole background. Like there's really not that much to see. But when I'm over here, you could see more and it kind of feels like I'm not taking up the whole scene. Rule of thirds I tend to use a lot too when I'm filming items. I'll film them in 1/3 of the frame instead of filming it in the middle. And that goes into another like composition and framing rule that I use. I tend to not do symmetrical frames. I really like asymmetrical frames, making the scene feel as real and personal as possible. The real world is not symmetrical. It's imperfect. It's mostly asymmetrical. So most of my frames, scenes, whatever, are filmed asymmetrically.